All right, going back to what we did yesterday, we talked about translations. Well, yesterday we focused on, can you do the translation? If I tell you what to do, can you do it and give me a new order pair? So let's recap that real quick, okay? So if you remember yesterday, we saw these. Now a little reference down here for a little cheat sheet. X goes left and right. So if you see X plus, it means go to the right. If you see X minus, it means go to the left. Y goes up and down. So if it's Y plus, you're up, and Y minus is down. So how would you interpret it if it says X plus 8? Well, if it's X plus 8, that means I'm going to go to the right 8. And if it's Y plus 8, that means I'm going to go up 8. And I'm just going to abbreviate for our notes purposes. And this is just a recap from yesterday. Now, if I do X minus 3, that means move left 3. And Y plus 4 means up 4. With me so far? If I look at X minus 1, that means to the left 1. And if it's Y minus 1, that means I'm going to go down 1. Okay. And then X plus 7 means go to the right 7. Y minus 4 means go down 4, okay? So that's kind of a recap from yesterday. Well, what if I asked you to write it yourself? So that's going to be the difference today is, can you do the reverse? Instead of you interpreting it, can you write the rule? So if I say translate 4 units to the right and 2 up, ask yourself this question: 4 to the right, is that the X or is that the Y? Well, if it's to the right, it's the X. And if it's to the right, is it plus or is it minus? Well, that would be plus 4. And then I think about 2 up. Is that the X or is that the Y? And that's the Y because it goes up and down. And since it's up, we're going to put plus 2. So that's more or less our focus today. If I look at this one, 2 left and 6 up. So again, left goes first. And since it's left, we're going to put minus 2 this time. 6 up, since it's up, we're going to put plus 6 next to the Y. Okay. And then this one, 5 to the right, so that's plus 5. 3 down would be minus 3 for the Y. Now, I wish I would have done this when I made these notes, but I want us to pretend, and just pretend, because this is how they can stump me, is they will sometimes reverse the order. For instance, it will probably say translate 2 units down, 6 to the left. And if I put 2 units down, well, guess what people are going to do? They're going to put the 2 next to the X instead of where it belongs, which is next to the Y. So be careful that you're paying attention to the direction that they're asking you to go. So if it's 2 down, just because I put that first doesn't mean that that's where that number goes. Since down is the Y, make sure you put minus 2 with the Y. And since 6 is left, make sure you put minus 6 next to the X. So always be mindful of the order they give it to you. That's just how they trick us every year, okay? So here's what your paper looks like today. Is if I give you a picture, can you tell me what happened? Now, here's the beauty of it. They give you a clue based off the letters. If you remember in yesterday's notes, when we moved the shape, we labeled the new shape with these primes. So you have to know which one's the OG and which one is the new guy. So pick a letter, H, F, or M. In this case, I'm just going to choose F. Or sorry, I said F and I circled H. I'm going to choose H. And I need to tell myself where or what did they do to get from the OG to the newbie. Okay, so the old H to the new H. Now, how I know this is the new H, remember, is this apostrophe. So that's your new one. That's where I'm going to, okay? Now, just give me directions. Well, if I know to get from here to here, I have to go left. How much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I had to go left 5, and then I had to go down 2. So be mindful. That's why it's important you know where to start and where to end. Otherwise, this is going to be completely wrong. Now, do what we just did up here. If I went left 5, that means it's X minus 5. If I went down 2, that means it's Y minus 2. So it's a combination of everything we did yesterday and today. So if I look at this one, again, figure out which one's the OG and figure out which one's the newbie, okay? So for instance, I'm just going to pick letter Z because I feel like it. This is the OG Z because it does not have the apostrophe. This is the new Z because it does have the apostrophe. Well, you tell me how to get from here to here. Just give me directions. Well, I first have to go right 2, so R2, and then I have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So then think about what goes where. Since I go right 2, it's X plus 2. And since I went up 4, it's Y plus 4. Okay. Let's look at number 7. Again, pick a letter, but make sure you pay attention to which one's the old one, the OG, and which one's the newbie. So if I look at U, okay, this is the original U. I need to figure out how to get to this U. Well, the only thing I need to do to get from the OG to the newbie is go left, 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice I didn't have to go up or down. Do you remember what I do if I don't need to go up or down? Well, in that case, that means there would be nothing next to the Y here. This would just be blank, so you can kind of squiggle it out. But then the X, because I went left 4, means X minus 4. So just watch out for those. Those can be tricky. If I look at number 8, I'm going to do letter E. Again, this is the OGE, and this is the new BE because it has the apostrophe. Now think about directions. In this case, I need to go down 2 and then right 1. Now, I did it that way in a particular reason because just because I went down 2 first doesn't mean I put the 2 in the first position. Think back. Down 2, does that mean the X or the Y? Well, it actually means the Y. So the minus 2 needs to go next to the Y. And then I went right 1, and since left and right is the X, I have to put plus 1 next to the X, not the Y. So when you write your directions, please make sure you pay attention to which one's the X and which one's the Y, okay? Number 9, if I choose letter P, again, this is the OGP and this is the new BP. But to get from the OG to the new one, all I have to do is go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't have to go up or down. Well, think back to what we did on number 7. If I didn't have to go up or down, that means I just put the plus 6 where? Well, since I went right, I have to put the plus 6 next to the X. And then what do I put next to the Y? Well, nothing. I just leave it blank. And no, that does not mean put 0. So don't put the 0. Just leave it blank. If I look at number 10, I'm going to do letter U because it's a little easier to see. If I go from the OG U to the new U, I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, since I went up 4, is that the X or is that the Y? Well, up 4 means the Y, and it's plus 4. So what do I do for the X? Well, since I didn't need to go left or right, the X is blank also. So in this particular case, the X is blank. Make sense?